Hi everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest. Today we are looking at IELTS listening practice and strategy, continuing from yesterday's class. Yesterday we did sections 1 and 2, so today we will be doing sections 3 and sections 4, the more challenging parts of listening. This listening is coming from our first exam book. It is test number 3, and it's coming from our websites at aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out there, aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. For general IELTS, check us out at IELTS help.com. On both of those websites, we have 6 original practice exams, over 100 hours of video lessons, and a fully interactive course with interactive quizzes and tests that you can use on your phone, tablet, and PC. Hi, Kisi. Good to see members joining in early on in the class. Hi, Wafa. Hi, Aidana Sadibek. Good to see so many students. Okay. If you're looking for our books, you want to have the hard copy versions to follow these live classes. That's a good idea. You can find them on Amazon at search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. If you have questions, send me an email. Adrian at aehelp.com, ADRIAN at aehelp.com. Hi, Siad Yassar. Good to see another of our more recent members. Sied, if you don't have our perks yet, make sure you send me an email so I can hook you up with the members' perks like the 6 practice exams and some other goodies. So just send me an email. This is my email here, Sied, okay? All right. So today, listening strategy and practice. Tomorrow is a members chat. So Sied, Rahul, Kisi, other members who are joining in, make sure to be a part of tomorrow's class. You get a little bit more attention because it's members chat only. That will be a task 2. Okay. Mehja bin Hussein says, I'm looking for your previous videos. I can't find those. Mehja bin, we've archived those to keep our channel clean. If you are a member, you can access our video archives. Okay. All right. Without further ado, students, let's get into some listening practice. I'm going to just play the audio, show you the questions, and we'll do listening section 3. Students, please don't write your answers into the chat. Give everybody a chance to give their own answers. So just write it on a piece of paper or in a different document on your phone or on your computer. And then after we finish listening, we will all have a chance to share our answers. Okay? Lamvikas, good luck on your April 6th exam. Tomorrow we're doing a writing class in the members chat, Lamvikas. So make sure you're present. Okay, so I'm just going to hop over to our websites here. This is our academic website. Our general IELTS website looks like this with the green background. Join it by clicking the big red button. Same thing for academic IELTS. When you join our website, you click there to log into your My Student account. Once you're logged in to your My Student account, you have access to all of our wonderful materials, including the interactive IELTS practice tests. There's 6 of them. They're pretty cool. Then you have a full online course that takes about 60 hours to complete. You have books, study plans, and PDF files. You have 100 hours of video lessons, and then you have lots and lots of audio CDs and even additional help. So right now we're using the audio CDs, and this will be CD 3 because it is test 3, track 3 because it's section 3. Students, I have my volume, turned up max. So I'm using my headphone mic here for the audio with a nice Bose speaker. It's the best I can do with this setup I have here in Europe. So if it's quiet for you, then make sure to just turn up the volume or use a headset on your end. And again, Don't write the answers into the chat. Just wait till the end, okay? So everybody get ready because we will start listening section 3 right now. Here we go.
Now turn to section 3. Take some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Listening section 3. You will hear a public forum discussion between the moderator and 2 contributors, Dr. Philip McPhee and Dr. Ron Tatum, both political scientists at the local university, talking about the nature of taxes in society. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. McPhee and Dr. Tatum for taking time out of their busy lives to spend this evening with us.
Thank you for having us.
Dr. McPhee, could you give us a little bit of the history of taxation?
Certainly. Taxes have been around almost as long as civilization itself. There are records of taxes being collected by Egyptian pharaohs approximately 5,000 years ago. It was customary to give 20% of your production to the pharaoh, and those who evaded taxes were severely punished.
Dr. Tatum, what are the reasons for taxes?
Well, there are essentially 3 major reasons for taxes. The first and most obvious reason is revenue. Governments need money, and taxes fulfill this need. The government then spends this tax revenue on investments that are good for society, such as healthcare, schools and roads. Funding the army would fall under this category as well. The second reason for taxation is for the redistribution of wealth. In simpler terms, this means taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor. Many societies do this out of a belief that it is the responsibility of the government to look after the poor people in society. I'll let Dr. McPhee talk about the final reason for taxation, called repricing.
Thank you, Dr. Tatum. Yes, the third main reason for taxation is called repricing, and by this we mean changing the price of a product to a different, generally higher price. This may sound quite strange, but if you bear with me, you'll see that it makes perfect sense. In general, products are allowed to be priced in a free market. That is to say, whoever can provide goods for the lowest price is the most successful. However, there are certain types of goods that we don't allow to go to the free market. In many countries, these are goods like tobacco and alcohol. These goods are subject to a repricing tax, which is used to discourage people from using the product. Also, these repricing taxes help offset the future medical costs associated with the people who use tobacco and alcohol excessively.
You now have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 27 to 30.
Very well. Do you favour higher or lower taxes?
I am a strong proponent of higher taxes. The reason for this is simply that it is easier to make money when you already have money. This gives a massive advantage to those people who may have inherited money or come from rich families, because money is so much easier to gain for these people if used wisely. Taxing them seems only fair and for the greater good. This compensates the poorer sections of society who really have little or no hope to gain financial success.
I understand Dr. Tatum's position, but one has to be wary of the fact that if taxes are too high for businesses, then those businesses will leave the country in favour of countries with lower taxes. Of course, it would be nice if we could legislate a worldwide tax structure, but this is simply not attainable. And I'm sure by the time it becomes attainable, companies will likely have opportunities to leave for another planet with more favourable tax structure.
Yes, you're right, Dr. McPhee. We must always be mindful of staying competitive. It is like a tightrope we must walk between compensating those less fortunate and being able to stay competitive in the market. Because if we fail to be competitive, then tax revenue will dry up, resulting in no money at all for the lower economic classes. So this is an extremely difficult balancing act.
Which leads to my next question. What is the future of taxation?
I believe you will see higher taxes in 50 years than there are today, just as we have higher taxes today than 50 years ago. We will need even more money for projects like high-speed transit, new roads, new technologies. Also, with an ageing population, medical costs could soar in the near future, resulting in higher taxes to support this healthcare system.
I think the future will be a lot like the present, walking the tightrope as Dr. Tatton mentioned. Where that takes us, I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I'd say higher taxes for the reasons Dr. Tatton outlined. However, another important variable to consider is whether free markets can really be allowed.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, students, and in that half minute, you should always check your answers. I'm just going to stop our audio here, back on the website, and then we will go through these questions together and give the answers, and hopefully all of you have done well. So let's see the answers. All right, so let's look at question 21. If an Egyptian's income was $10,000, how much would be given to the pharaoh? All right. Some of you say 20%. Begzad says, what if I am sure that they are all correct? I'm not sure what you're meaning there, Begzad. Farhan says 2,000. Hongle Nguyen says 2,000. Begzad says 2,000. Marina says 2,000. Rahul says 2,000. And 2,000 is the correct answer. So 2,000. Careful with these types of questions. You have to do a little bit of math here. So they said 20% of the income is given to the pharaoh. 20% of 10,000 is 2,000. So that's why it equals 2,000, okay? Make sure to pay attention to the full question, especially in section 3 and section 4. Good for those of you who got that one. Fantastic. All right, number 22. The first reason mentioned for taxes is what? So they say there are basically 3 reasons for taxes. Manish, it's not 20% here because if the Egyptian's income is 10,000, how much would be given? So you have to look at the conditional here of the 10,000, and 2,000 is the correct answer. All right? So you have to do a little bit of math. All right, so Dakshil, Omaima, Sana, a lot of you are saying revenue. Revenue is correct. Yes. Revenue, make sure you have the correct spelling. The first reason mentioned for taxes is revenue. It's income, right? It's to make money. Kopila is using all capitals. That is okay, Kopila, Upreti, absolutely. Okay, the second reason for taxes is known as what? Takes money from the rich and gives it to the poor. So what is the second one? Nurlan, that is the right idea. You just spelt it wrong. Remember, Amiel, it is 2 words and or a number. So redistribution of money will be wrong because it's 3 words. Just redistribution. Okay, so Kisi, Bagzad. Anthony, if you say wealth redistribution, that's okay. They'll take that. Okay, so redistribution, right. So 2,000, revenue, and redistribution. Here, the grammar was different in the audio, but as long as you paid careful attention, they did emphasize that redistribution is the second reason for taxes. So good for those students who are following carefully, visualizing. Okay, good. Excellent, good. Well done. Yeah, almost for sure in the IELTS there will be one question, maybe even two in the listening section that require you to do a little bit of math, a little bit of inferencing from a combination of information that you hear. All right, so let's look at the next set, which was a flowchart completion. Again, pay careful attention to the instructions, students. You have to choose the letter, so make sure you don't put the word in the answer key, but you put the letter in the answer key. So here, the flowchart shows what? What does this flowchart actually show before we get at the answers? So what is the flowchart actually showing? Manish, redistribution wealth is not correct. It has to be wealth redistribution. Order of words is important in English and in the IELTS. So, what is this? What is this flowchart showing before you give me the answers? Okay, see, it says it's distribution of income. No, it's not the distribution of income. Marina's saying it's showing repricing. That's half of the truth. Elise says it's showing a tax scheme. Amiel, okay, Amiel Raphael says is it subject to a repricing tax or not? Right. So this flowchart is showing products that are subject to repricing versus products that are not. So repricing of certain products is the correct answer, Farhan, but very, very close. All right, what is number 24? So allowed to go to the free market, number 24. General goods, a lot of you said E. E is correct. So general goods are allowed to go to the free market. What is not allowed to go to the free market? Number 25. Yeah, Kisi, that's a nice way to say it, a simple way to say it. It's a tax system. Thank you, Mustafa. Okay, so you're saying B, alcohol. Yeah, B, alcohol is not allowed to go to the free market. It is subject to what? And I'm sure lots of you got this because you're realizing that that's what it's showing. Repricing. Products like alcohol, tobacco, cannabis now in Canada, shisha in many parts of the Arabic world, those are called socially irresponsible products. Okay? There are people who invest specifically in what's called vice funds, which are socially irresponsible investing. These are the products that we, or many of us, love, but they're bad for us. They're bad for our health. They're bad for motivation, for energy, but they can be a lot of fun. So society pays for them, and society says, hey, if we have to pay for them, the people who buy them should pay for them too, make them more expensive, add an extra tax, and ideally that extra tax money goes for medical care and other problems caused by those products, such as car accidents. Okay, so that's repricing. Let's go to 27 to 29. So 27 to 29, this is 3 questions. Pay attention. In your answer sheet, you'll have something like this, okay, where you will see, make sure you don't put them into one line. This is 27, 28, 29. So you're putting one letter per space. The order doesn't matter. All right. And maybe it was a little bit tricky, but logic is your friend in this case. Okay. The question here, it's focusing on lower taxes. What do the professors talk about first, higher or lower taxes? So which one? Okay, it's just three. Nafisa, it's just three. In the audio, what do the professors talk about first? The benefit of higher or the benefit of lower taxes? Ali and Begzod both agree that they talk about higher taxes. Amin, Isayev, also higher taxes. Yeah. So again, pay very careful attention to the question. If you don't catch that they're talking about higher taxes, or you don't pay attention to the question, it's easy to make some mistakes. However, if you're patient, and patience is important in section 3 and 4, so pay attention, be patient, then you realize that, oh, wait a second, this is looking for lower taxes, and that makes sense. Now, logic and lower taxes also will help you a lot, okay? So it is easier to make money when you are already rich. Is that in favor of higher taxes or lower taxes? It's probably higher, right? So, what are the answers here? B, businesses will leave the country if taxed too harshly. Is that true? Yes. So, we should keep taxes lower. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So, B. Inheriting money requires no work. Was that mentioned? I don't think so. D, a country must be able to stay competitive in the global market. Are there any countries right now that have low taxes for big businesses so that they're very competitive? Excuse me. Can anybody think of a country that offers low taxes to be highly competitive in the global market? Syed says, how about Luxembourg? Eunice says, maybe China? Yep, I've heard about Luxembourg. Absolutely, Syed, you're right. Saudi Arabia, maybe Dubai, Greece, Ireland, I know is definitely a place. So, yeah, sure. So lower taxes, yeah, that makes sense. A worldwide tax structure can be implemented. That's just silly. We don't have that yet, so we know that's not true. Lower taxes in the end up benefiting everyone, including the poor. Possible. So BDF looks pretty good. Okay, let's stick with those. We'll check the answer key at the end, don't worry. But I think BDF look to be the best answers. All right, any order. The order doesn't matter for this type of question, students, okay? Use your logic. Logic can help you get at least 2 out of 3 answers for this one, all right? Okay, Switzerland, India, low taxes as well. Not Canada. Canada, we love our high taxes. All right, here we go. Question 30, but we have great social services in Canada. So question 30, choose the correct letters A, B, or C. What do the speakers believe about taxes in the future? Again, logic is your friend here. They will stay the same. They will be lower. They will be higher. IELTS does reflect reality. Keep that in mind, okay? So IELTS does reflect reality. So what you think is true in reality should be true on the listening as well. They don't try to trick you in IELTS this way. So historically, taxes always get higher, right? Begzod would argue that taxes will never be lower. So maybe by the year 3,500, taxes will be 99.99%, okay? Kopila, if you answered BDF for the previous, fantastic, good job. All right, so C, yeah, they both say that. Yeah, it'll probably go up, okay? Most of us would think that way. So again, students, remember in listening a few important points, all right? Firstly, In sections 3 and 4, be patient. 3 and 4, be patient. At times, it takes 30 seconds or more for the answers to come. Okay? And then synonymously with that, pay careful attention to the question details. Okay? And again, I keep reminding students that logic is your friend. All right? Many of the questions in listening and reading can be solved by logic alone. Okay? So again, with that, keep in mind that IELTS does reflect reality. So if it is true in the real world, it is very likely true on IELTS exams as well. Okay, so high taxes in the real world. Answer is high taxes. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. So let's go to section 4, right? Section 4, you do not get a break halfway, so it's one fluid, continuous audio. Again, I'm going to jump back to our website here to play it. Nirdesh, you are smart like me. We share a 99.999% similar brain, Nirdesh. So you are smart like me. Believe in yourself. Practice your logic, and you'll get there. Believe me. All right. So here we go with listening section 4. Students, again, please write your answers in a separate document or in a piece of paper. Give everybody an equal opportunity to come up with their own responses, okay? And then we'll go through it together afterwards, all right? Okay, so here we go, students. Okay, if it's quiet for you, turn up your volume or use a headset or both.
Now turn to section 4. Take some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Listening section 4. You will hear a lecture about English scientist Isaac Newton. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Today we are going to discuss the life and achievements of the famous English scientist Sir Isaac Newton. Many consider Newton to be the most brilliant man to have ever lived, and many consider his achievements the greatest ever achieved by one man. Newton himself was not so sure, as he famously told his followers, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." While it may be true that he built upon the foundation of scientists before him, he still managed to see further than anyone else had, and to this day his accomplishments stand the test of time. Isaac Newton was born in England in 1643. He studied at the King's School in Grantham from age 12 to 17. After leaving school, his mother tried to make him into a farmer, but that was not going to be sufficient for young Isaac. A year later, in 1661, on the recommendation of one of his teachers at the King's School in Grantham, Newton was admitted to Trinity College in Cambridge, where he eventually became a teacher 6 years later. Newton is perhaps most famous for his work on gravity. A well-known story says that Newton realized the nature of gravity while he was sitting under a tree and an apple fell on his head. This story may or may not be true, but the underlying principle is valuable. Newton made the astonishing discovery that the same force that makes an apple fall to the earth also makes the earth revolve around the sun and the moon revolve around the earth. Until this time, scientists such as René Descartes and Gottfried Leibniz had believed that the planets moved in some sort of matter, something they called an ether. Newton demonstrated that no such ether was required. Descartes and Leibniz also had little explanation for why apples fall to the earth. Newton's theory accounted for this almost perfectly. During the 20th century, Newton's theory came under attack by the German physicist Albert Einstein, whose theory of relativity was said to replace Newton's theory of gravitation. This is simply not true. Einstein's theory is a landmark achievement in science, but it did not replace Newton's theory, it merely improved it. To picture this, think of a smooth ball, perhaps a billiard ball. In this experiment of the mind, Newton tells us that the ball is smooth. However, Einstein says that the ball has small imperfections, dents, cuts, and scrapes. Who is right? The answer is both of them. Newton is correct on a macroscopic scale. When we look at the ball from a distance, the ball is smooth. However, Einstein is correct as well. The ball does have imperfections. He is correct on a macroscopic and a microscopic scale. Another of Newton's important achievements is the reflecting telescope. Previously, Galileo had used lenses to construct his telescope, but Newton was the first to use mirrors in a telescope. Today's telescopes are almost all made of mirrors as opposed to lenses, which again speaks to Newton's brilliance. There are a number of reasons the mirror is an improvement over the lens in telescopes. First, mirrors do not warp as easily as lenses do, and by that I mean that lenses can lose their shape in hot or cold weather quite easily. Second, telescopes with mirrors take up less space because of their shorter focal distance. Third, telescopes with mirrors can be built far larger because the mirrors themselves can be built larger. An achievement of Newton's that must not be overlooked is Newton's discovery of calculus. Although the discovery was not without controversy, Gottfried Leibniz also claims to have invented calculus at approximately the same time. Nobody really knows the truth, but it is accepted that they discovered it separately. In any case, it was a brilliant achievement by both scientists. Newton died in March 1727, and his body was laid to rest at Westminster Abbey in London, in a famous above-ground tomb. He was 84.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And then, of course, you have that half minute, and right after that half minute, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So in that half minute, check your answers for section 4, and then start going through from section 1 and transferring your answers to the answer sheet, paying attention to instructions, possible mistakes with spelling, missing words. So that's your second chance to pick up some potential marks. All right, so let's go back to the beginning and let's work through this together. First of all, we have a flow chart. In flow charts, pay very careful attention to some key information. So you know the position of the audio. Here, some key information is the date, 1643. So pay attention for that. Names will give you positioning. So King's School in Grantham, that will give you positioning. Pay attention to that. Okay. All right, studies at King's School in Grantham from the age of 12 to 17. So in your answer sheet, students, for this one, you only need to put the numbers. Don't put the word, okay? It's 2 words and or a number. If you write 12 to 17, you'll get it wrong. They gave you that, okay? It said only 2. So you can only have 12, 17. Comma is not counted. So don't worry about the comma. If you have the word two, then it's wrong because it's two numbers and a word. It says two words and or a number, okay? So you cannot put the word two in there, all right? So just a comma, all right? Okay, leaves school. Mother attempts to make him a what? What does mom want young Sir Isaac to be? I think she needs maybe a little bit of help. A farmer. That's right. Dakshil. Chudhuri. Very good. Yeah, a farmer. And you can write it all capitals like that, or you can write it all lowercase. When you're writing all capital, just be really cautious for spelling mistakes, all right? It's easier to make spelling mistakes. So farmer, F-A-R-M-E-R, farmer. All right, very good. Rahul, good job. Syed, good. Bagzad, fantastic. Farmer, it is. Okay, and then we're continuing again here. You see the date 1661, so that helps you position in the audio. You see the name Trinity College, again, that helps you position. So 6 years after beginning, Newton becomes a what there? What does Newton become instead of the farmer? Amin Nisayev says he becomes a teacher. Dakshil and Sana agree, and indeed he does. He becomes a teacher. Obviously, he's a very clever guy. He studies quite hard, really doesn't want to toil on the fields, and so he becomes a farmer. Or sorry, he becomes a teacher, not a farmer. Okay, good. So far, 12 to 12, 17, farmer, teacher. Good. So some good answers there. Let's keep going. Here, you had to match the person. So this is matching a person to what they're known for or their activities. We have 5 people. We have 4 choices. We have Galileo, Newton, Descartes, and Leibniz. We have Einstein. All famous scientists of the past, coming from Italy, England, France, Germany, Austria, United States. So scientists from different regions. Number 34. Believed that planets move in an ether. So this was the original thought, number 34. Who believed that the planets move in an ether? It was C, Descartes and Leibniz. That's correct. The question by Nurlan is good. Nurlan says, can I use the names instead of the letters on the answer sheet? No, Nurlan, absolutely not. If you write Descartes and Leibniz into blank 34 on the answer sheet, you will get that wrong. Thank you, Sana, for seconding my response there. Okay, number 35, developed a theory which was thought to replace the earlier theory of gravity. Who came up with a theory of gravity? Newton. So developed a theory which was thought to replace gravity. There is only one person here who lived after Newton. Okay? The only person who lived after Newton was Einstein. So the only possible answer for 35 is D. Again, if you're using logic, you should realize that. Hopefully all of you have some familiarity with these people. They're very, very famous individuals in history. Galileo was the first to strongly advocate that the world is indeed round and not flat. In the experiment of the mind, tells us that the billiard ball is smooth. So which one of these famous scientists, for number 36, believed that the billiard ball was smooth? Number 36 is not D. Number 36 is B. And going back to that question that that was asked, so should I use the names instead of the letters? No, you should use the letters. You'll get it wrong if you put the names. And use capital letters, okay? So careful with the D and B confusion. It's better to just write capital letter D, capital letter B, okay? It's clearer that way. So do it like that. 37 used not mirrors but lenses in the construction of the telescope. So last one of these questions, 37, used mirrors. Not mirrors. So pay really careful attention to this negative. Used not mirrors but lenses. Don't rush through the words. It was Galileo, right? Galileo's famous lens telescope to see the world. Yeah, absolutely, to see the stars. So C, D, B, A. Good. All right. So far, so good. Let's keep moving. Okay, this was just a short sentence completion. Telescopes, you have to be very careful here. Pay close attention. Telescopes with lenses cannot be built as large as telescopes with mirrors because large lenses tend to what? What happens to large lenses? There's a couple of different ways to say this. Lose shape. Okay. Careful you don't write loose. Careful, make sure you write lose. Okay. Or there was a simpler word, lose shape, or not loose. Okay, if you write loose, you'll get it wrong. It's lose. Lose shape, or a simpler way would be warp. Okay, warp means to lose shape. So warp is simpler. Bussy flash, not lose warp. Okay, lose warp is weird. De-shape or deform, Farhan, is okay. If you write deform, that would be okay. I bet they'd take that. Okay, all of those would be all right. Not lose warp. Okay, not lose warp. That's strange. Just warp. All right. Deform, warp, lose shape. Telescopes with mirrors take up less space because of their reduced what? What's the last one? Focal distance. That's right. Focal distance. 2 words. Okay, that was a little bit more difficult. Focal distance. Okay, so your focus distance. You need both of those. Focal distance. All right, good. Okay, one last question. Multiple choice. Which statement is true? So it's kind of like a combination of a true-false question and a multiple choice question. Which statement is true? Newton and Leibniz discovered calculus together. Newton and Leibniz discovered calculus separately during the same time. Newton and Leibniz discovered calculus separately while working at the same university. A, B, or C? Lots of B's, lots of correct answers. B it is. Yeah, definitely. B it is. So B's the correct answer. Alrighty, students. So count up your marks. How many did you get correct from 20? And many students who watched yesterday's listening live class with section 1 and section 2, add your scores together. So total your scores, okay? And then we will check out what your band score is. So let's hop to our website. And on our website, at the very, very bottom here, you see a score calculator, okay? So there is a score calculator. I just clicked on it. Let me darken up the camera for us here so you can see this clearer, okay? I'm going to be a little bit of a silhouette for a moment so you can see the bright background. All right, so here's a score calculator. It's different, especially for the reading, for academic, than the general, so make sure that you're on the right website. This is the academic website. Listening will be the same, but the reading will be different, okay? So if you have a band score of 37, like Sana, then we can write in 37, and it will give us the IELTS band score of 8.5. Okay, so a 37 would be an 8.5. This is just a quick converter, all right? Nirdesh, 32. I'll check that out. 32 is 7.5. Bagzad, yeah, I know you've done this listening before, maybe even twice. So 40 out of 40 will be a band 9, of course, 39 and 40. Rahul, 33 is 7.5. So that's pretty good for sure. All right. Any other scores? Ankai says 23. So 23 is a band 6. Okay. Bussy Fash, 37. It's pretty good. That's going to be an 8. Amin, 36. Let me check that. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's an 8. I think 36 is the cutoff. No, 35. Yeah, so 35 and higher, you're getting a band 8 or more, okay? All right, so good job, students. Again, you can just go to the website and use that score calculator to figure out your score anytime. And if you're general IELTS, make sure you're going to this website with the green background. It also has a score calculator at the bottom here. Okay, there's your score calculator. So check that out. Okay, students, so again, remember, for listening section 3 and 4, be patient. It takes time for answers to come. And just brighten this up for us. Here we go. There I am again, no longer a silhouette. Yes, a lot of students say, well, this is easier than in the real IELTS. Not really. So this listening is just as difficult as the official IELTS. There's one big difference. Can anybody guess why it might be easier for you in these live sessions than in the real IELTS? It's the same difficulty. I promise you, it's very much the same. But why might it seem easier? Nirdesh says test anxiety. Yeah, that's right, test anxiety. So when you're in the official exam, Nirdesh, you're probably a lot more nervous, right? You feel a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. So when you don't feel as much stress or pressure, it's not as bad. Bussy Fash says time, but time, it's the same. So when we're doing the listening here, it's actually the same. Roshni says, because there's time and pressure. Pressure for sure. Time is not as much. The marking system is the same here. One big difference, students, is that I'm controlling the flow of the answer or the questions and the answer sheet, okay? That's helping you. So when I'm moving the question sheet with the correct timing of the information, that's helping you. In the official IELTS, you don't have me there to show you exactly which question you should be listening for. So that's one of the big differences. You have to practice that at home. So be really careful, okay? The big difference is I'm controlling the test paper and not you, all right? So you don't have that luxury in the real IELTS, so careful. Make sure you practice. All right, everyone, that's it for today. For those of you that were here in yesterday's class as well, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've completed a full IELTS listening section. Next week, Manish, I'll definitely be teaching some academic reading as well. Again, students, remember to check out our websites, join our premium courses. It's worth spending a couple dollars to save yourself hundreds of dollars not to sit the IELTS again and again. So go to aehelp.com, go to gieltshelp.com. Tomorrow, it's a members chat class. Members, make sure you're present, okay? You make that class more fun, more exciting when you're commenting and contributing. So I'm looking forward to seeing our members there. Members who are new and have not sent me an email, please send me an email so I can hook you up with the perks. Okay, we're going to have more perks coming in the near future as well, so look out for that. Adrian at aehelp.com. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see many of you in class tomorrow. And if it's late in your country, get some good rest. If it's early in your country, then have a great day ahead. Bye for now, everyone.